Welcome to GripeCast with your host, Alex Hernandez. This show is dedicated to consumer technology news and pop culture. GripeCast is owned by TECHAERIS. Visit TECHAERIS.com for the latest tech reviews, news, entertainment, and pop culture. Now sit tight, the show is about to begin. All right, welcome to GripeCast, episode 26, Monday, August 12th, 2024. We are back with yet another podcast, and it is a start of a new week, and there's a lot going on still in this world, a lot that's keeping many of us distracted from the things that we enjoy doing, that we've enjoyed doing, with all the politics that's happening right now and all the chaos that's in the world. It is getting difficult to just kind of tune out, because it's just bombarding you, right? It's just completely overtaking your senses in every way, and that's what people who never even really got into politics or any of that kind of stuff are now just embroiled and drown in it because of everything that's happening, and I'm hoping that GripeCast will at least give you a few 20 or 30 or 40 minutes of quiet time from all of that, and that's what I'm trying to do by making these podcasts, is just to distract myself and keep myself away from that world, at least somewhat. Anyway, last week. What did we talk about last week? Oh, man, let me look back. I'm at a loss at what we talked about last week. Oh, we talked about Google last week. That's right. We talked about Google. Google is a monopoly, and we talked about all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to change it up in this podcast. I've done entertainment. I've done other things with my podcasts. And, this is a free-form podcast. It's going to be fluctuating from one topic to another, but mostly I want to try to keep it along the lines of tech and what's happening in the tech world, entertainment, that type of stuff. It's not a political podcast, and it won't, I won't get into, maybe once in a while I'll talk here and there about stuff. I definitely like to address, like I did at the top of the podcast here, just the challenges that we're all facing with dealing and navigating with in this world, with the political landscape that's happening right now. I want to change it up today. We're going to talk about the new Snapdragon X Elite CPUs. These are new CPUs from Snapdragon that are now running an ARM. It's an ARM-based system. A lot of laptops there's many new laptops out that are using this new Snapdragon X Elite. And I thought we'd just go over it a little bit, that maybe if you don't understand what it is, to help you understand what this is and what makes it different from the Intel and the AMD processors that are out, like the Intel Ultra processors and the AMD Ryzens, which are x86 architecture. So ARM architecture has been around for a long time. It's just Windows laptop makers have had a let's back that up. Windows CPU makers like Intel and AMD have historically had a hard time making an ARM processor to perform at the level of the x86 processors. So we have had ARM processor laptops in the past, but they were never very successful, and they had a hard time running legacy apps and x86 apps and software, I should say, and they struggled, and so they were never very successful. But now the Snapdragon X Elite is here. And Snapdragon has jumped into the world of laptops, and they're no longer constrained to the world of smartphones and tablets. So And dang, these things are great. Let me tell you. I just reviewed the HP EliteBook Ultra. What is it called? Ultra boom boom. Because it's out of my brain now because I'm working on a new laptop review. But this is the HP EliteBook Ultra G1Q 14-inch. That was one of the first Snapdragon X Elite laptops to hit the market. And you can go to, I'll link in the show notes where you can see that review. But I have two other laptops here that I'm working on right now. One is the Dell XPS 13 with the Snapdragon X Elite, and the other is the Lenovo with the Snapdragon X Elite. And the Dell is 13-inch, and the Lenovo is a 14.3 inch, I think. I'm looking it up right now. I should have had this up before I started the podcast, but it happens. Yeah, here it is. Let's see here. Boom, boom. That's a T14. I think it's called the Lenovo Slim 7X. That's what it's called. So the Lenovo Slim 7X, and that is a 14.3 inch screen, I believe. So 14.5 inch screen, which is close to 15. It's a lot of these new X Elite, Snapdragon X Elite, and X Plus laptops are 13 to 14 inches. I think Asus makes a 15-inch, but I have not seen a 16-inch one yet. At any rate, I've reviewed the HP, and I've been using the Lenovo, and I've been using the Dell, and I'm just going to come out on this podcast and say of the three Snapdragon X Elite machines that I've used, the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7X is by far the best out of the three. Out of the HP EliteBook Ultra G1Q, and from the Dell XPS 13, the Yoga Slim 7X is the winner in my book. It has a nicer screen, brighter. It is larger, 14.5 inches, but it's at the same time, it's not the package. The entire package is about the same size as the HP. The Dell has a 13-inch screen, so it's more compact, and Dell tends to have like nearly no bezels on them, so it makes it look really small. So anyway, these three laptops with the Snapdragon X Elite that I've used, the Lenovo Slim 7X is the winner for me, and I will have that review hopefully in the next week or two, and then followed by the Dell. We'll have all the reviews up on these laptops, and if we get more Snapdragon X Elite laptops into review, that'd be great. Still looking at Microsoft to send us one, but it's kind of hard to get a hold of them, but we're trying. All right, let's talk about it. All right, so there's a couple of the platforms are, and if you're watching and not listening, you'll see it on my screen here. You have the Snapdragon X Elite, and then we have the Snapdragon X Plus. And they're all 12 cores, except for the X Plus is a 10 core, and it has different part numbers here, and they're all the same, I believe. Not sure why they have 4 different SKUs for the same processor. Probably, I'm thinking different manufacturers, but I could be wrong. But I think the differentiator here is the X Plus and the X Elite. The Plus has 10 cores, the Elite has 12 cores. And the difference between those two is, let's see, we have the cores at 12 on the Elite, 10 on the Plus, and then total cache is 42 megabytes. Max multi-thread frequency is 3.4 gigahertz. Dual core boost. Here's a difference. So on these 3-part numbers, which are, it looks like the XIE, let me zoom in here. The XIE 001DE, whatever that means, We have a dual core boost of 4.3, and then it goes down from there: 4.3, 4.2, 4.0, and then none and none. Teraflops 4.6, 4.6, 3.8, 3.8, 3.8. And the tops 45 all across the board. Memory type is all LPDDR5X. And then it talks, let me go back out so you guys can see. I zoomed too far in. Memory, you can these new laptops can hold up to 64 gigabytes of LPDDR5X. Most of the devices that I've tested, I think, have come with 16. Let me look back at the HP real quick at the review for that. The Lenovo might have 32 actually. Lenovo tends to send theirs in to me with the max of spec that they have. This particular, the HP only had 16, but still LPDDR5X at 8400 megahertz. But max memory on these, and I believe it's soldered on, so you cannot upgrade them. So if you're going to plan on buying an Elite X Elite laptop, get the memory that you want, the RAM that you want. Otherwise, you can't upgrade it. Up to 64 LPDDR5X, 135 gigabytes, 8448 MTS, 8-channel shared system level cache. Okay. Qualcomm Fast Connect 7800 mobile connectivity system. So it comes with Wi-Fi 7, HBS multi-link, Bluetooth 5.4 with LE. And over here on this side, it gives you a breakdown. And I'm gonna zoom in here again, and then it's got to render out here. It's a PDF, so it'll take a second to render properly. And then here's the CPU, Qualcomm Orion, and then the GPU is called the Adreno, Qualcomm Adreno. We're all familiar with that. And the NPU, which is the neural processing unit, is the Qualcomm Hexagon. And this is something new for those who are just listening and don't know what an NPU is. The neural processing unit is going to be used for the AI aspect of the operating system. There's AI features on these new laptops, even on the x86 laptops. There's AI features, and all these new laptops are coming with NPUs. So your CPU is your central processing unit. The GPU is the graphical processing unit. So that's going to take care of your graphics card, your graphics processing. So if you're doing, video editing, photo editing, that kind of stuff, the NPU is your neural processing unit, and that takes care of the processing of the AI, which could involve the GPU along with the CPU. All three working together. Depends on what program you're using. So you're using DaVinci Resolve, or you're using Affinity Photo, or God forbid, Adobe products. All three of these will be working in conjunction to give you the processing that you need for your laptop. Let's get back out. All right, here. Oop, too far. All right, there we go. Snapdragon X 65 5G modem, sub 6 gigahertz, and mmWave 10 gigabits per second peak download speed, 3.5 peak upload speed, and that's the modem that they're using on these laptops. Qualcomm Spectra, MIPI for DSLR level quality, dual 18-bit ISPs, dual camera up to 2 by 36 megapixel 4K HDR video capture. So this Qualcomm Spectra is what's going to process the video in your system. I'm not quite sure what Qualcomm Sensing Hub is, so we'll mention it. So it says Qualcomm Sensing Hub, 18-bit always sensing ISP. All right, so here we go with the product highlights. It says unlock endless potential with Snapdragon X series, redefining possible with best-in-class performance, groundbreaking on-device AI, and long battery life. So that's what the NPU is for, is the on-device AI. And I'm going to take a quick drink here. So on-device AI is, there's some programs in Windows that will use the device AI and not reach out to the cloud. Some of them are like the photo AI generation that you can do within Windows. That's all done in on device. So it's not like Midjourney where it goes out onto the cloud and grabs information from the cloud. It's all on device. So that's what the NPU is there for, to help with that process. Goes on to say, our intelligent and power efficient processors power you into a future where the extraordinary becomes the everyday. Snapdragon X series platforms are the only Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs available on the market starting June 18th, 2024. So that was a couple months ago. All right, the benchmarks. All Snapdragon X series processors include the integrated Qualcomm Orion CPU with unrivaled performance and efficiency in Windows laptops. Recommended benchmarks by focus are below with expected score ranges in the following sections. CPU Geekbench 6, Cinebench 2024. So you can run these. These are the recommended benchmark programs to run. Geekbench 6, Cinebench 2024, UL Pro Scion Office Productivity. On the GPU, you can run the GFX Bench Aztec Ruins, 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme, and on the NPU, run the UL Pro Scion AI Computer Vision Benchmark. So you can run these yourself if you buy one of these. I don't generally run benchmarks when I do my laptop reviews. I'm more of a real world use case kind of guy. I don't get into the numbers. I don't get into the analytics and detailed numbers of a laptop's performance. That being said, the HP and the Lenovo and the Dell that I've used have all performed amazingly well. All your basic tasks that most people will do are covered, no problem. They've been able to run DaVinci Resolve, Affinity Photo, and just amazing performance. You have to think about the X Elite, and I know that Snapdragon probably doesn't want people to say this that much, but you think about it as the Apple M1 series, but for Windows. The Apple M series, I should say, the M series, not just the M1, because there's M1, M2, M3, M4. The Apple M series is what this is competing with, and because Apple did so well with that M series, their performance and battery life are just off the charts. Standby time with Apple's M chips are just crazy. It's really, really good. So that's what the Snapdragon X Elite is trying to do. The Snapdragon X series is trying to do, is to compete with that. And I gotta say that they're there. I think that if you're looking for a replacement for a MacBook Pro, like a 14-inch or a MacBook Air, these are the guys. This is the new lineup for Windows, the Snapdragon X series. There's another processor that I've been playing with lately that I think would fall into that range too, but I'm not going to mention it here because this is all about the Snapdragon, so we're going to concentrate on that. So performance is great from what I've observed with my everyday testing, let's call it that. No benchmarking, just testing. Battery life. Users can expect Snapdragon X series system to deliver up to 2 times battery life in some of the most common workloads and use cases when compared to competitive systems. Battery life will vary across the OEM design implementations. Battery size, display type and size, cooling solution, and other device level implementations greatly affect the battery life of the system. Battery life is fantastic on the Snapdragon X Elite laptops that I've used. These Windows laptops, I've never had a Windows laptop last as long as these laptops. And that is running, this is everyday, just regular use, not running heavy programs like DaVinci and Affinity, or which would be, the Adobe equivalents would be Photoshop and Premiere Pro. But just everyday use, but at full brightness and being used. I get a full day, full work day and more. And the standby time is great. Windows laptops used to just drain if you left them kind of just sitting there. And you leave them there for, 12 hours and come back and half the battery's gone. That's not the case here with the Snapdragon X Elite. I don't know what they're doing because whatever they're doing it right. And these new Snapdragon X Elite laptops are just off the charts in terms of battery life. Really, really good. All right, so apps. The Snapdragon X Elite benefits from strong software support through Qualcomm technologies, collaborations with Microsoft and ISVs, enhancing its software ecosystem for a broad user base. It supports a wide range of applications natively and through Microsoft's powerful Prism emulator, combined with software improvements in Qualcomm Orion CPU. According to Microsoft, the new Prism emulator is up to 2 times faster than the previous generation emulator and is as effective as Rosetta 2 from Apple. So what that is there's going to be some programs that aren't quite optimized for the X series yet. But with this Prism emulator, it does the same thing as Rosetta 2 does in Apple, which, the same goes for Apple. If you get an M series chip, and you might have programs that aren't optimized or made for the M series, but for Intel, Rosetta 2 will automatically attempt to convert the program into make it readable and usable. And I haven't run into this with Snapdragon X Elite because everything that I've used is optimized. Like DaVinci is optimized, Affinity is optimized for this. So those would be the only programs that I would think that I would use that would need optimization. But anyway, with Apple, with the Rosetta 2 on M, I had run into some problems with some programs that weren't optimized for M chips, and it did a great job of emulating that and getting it moved over so that you can use those programs. And it's the same concept with the Prism emulator on these systems. So you might have some programs that aren't going to quite run properly, but with Prism emulator, it should run them okay. You'll just have to test it. I can't speak to every program, but you'll just have to test how that works for you. Okay. He goes, according to Microsoft, nearly 90% of the total app minutes that users spend in apps today have Windows on Snapdragon versions. Okay. Gaming. Snapdragon X Elite is designed to elevate premium laptops with its powerful Qualcomm Orion CPU and Qualcomm Adreno GPU, supporting hundreds of games at launch, including titles from Steam and Epic Games Launcher. Also supports Xbox Game Pass and GeForce Now, leveraging its performance, extended battery life, and Wi-Fi 7 and 5G connectivity for seamless cloud gaming. Use Microsoft's new automatic super resolution to enhance graphic without sacrificing frame rate or battery life. This makes it an ideal choice for creators, students, and professionals who want to play games too. So, I'm not a huge gamer. I'm a casual gamer, and I did play a few games on these laptops, and they work fine. I'm not a frame rate peeper, so I felt like the games ran smooth, and this is not a gaming laptop. I'll say that. I think it's a creator laptop. These are creator laptops and basic student laptops that you can actually game on, but I think that not completely optimized for gaming. So yeah, you can game on them. And then we get into benchmarks, which they provide some benchmarks here, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and you guys can pause the video and look at the Geekbench, Cinebench, GFX Bench, 3D Mark, and UL ProCyan and Windows benchmarks that Snapdragon ran on their own, and you can see the numbers, and then if you buy one, you can run these benchmarks yourself, and you can compare to see how close they got. All right, software support. We already went through app support. Okay, so Linux support. This is something that I know some of my audience is into Linux. So here they say, while we are very focused on the Windows opportunity right now, Qualcomm has contributed to the LLVM compiler infrastructure project. You can find out more here. And I will include this link in the show notes. That way our Linux crowd can take a look. But I just clicked into it. It says upstreaming Linux kernel support for the Snapdragon X Elite. So yeah, looks like they're working on Linux support for the X Elite. So you guys, I know I had a couple of people mention, I wish this was working on Linux. It's going to come. So you just got to be patient, and hopefully it'll be here sooner than later. Wanted to jump over to the Copilot Plus devices powered by Snapdragon X and let you know exactly which models you can buy currently with these processors. Let's start with the X Plus, because this is the lower tier of the X series, the Snapdragon X Plus. So the laptops that run Snapdragon X Plus, which has 10 cores, are the Acer Swift 14, the Asus VivoBook S15, the Dell Latitude 7455, the Dell Latitude 5455, the Dell Inspiron 14, the Dell Inspiron 14 Plus, Microsoft Surface Pro, and Microsoft Surface Laptop 13. And we jump up to the X Elite, and you can get that on the Acer Swift 14, the Asus VivoBook S15, Dell Latitude 7455, the Dell XPS 13, the HP EliteBook Ultra G1Q. That's the one that I reviewed. That's a great laptop. My only disappointment with that laptop is the display brightness was really low. I think it had a max of 300 nits, whereas the Lenovo has something like 500 nits. Very much nicer display on the Lenovo, so I give the edge to them. Then we have the HP OmniBook X, the Lenovo ThinkPad T14S, the Lenovo the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7X, the Microsoft Surface Laptop 13, the Surface Laptop 15, the Microsoft Surface Pro, the Samsung Galaxy Book 4 Edge 16. Here we go. There's the 16-inch. So we have one 16-inch in the batch, and the Galaxy Book Edge 14. So that's where you can find, and I'll leave that right up there so you guys can get a screenshot, and you can shop around if you're interested in a Snapdragon X Elite laptop. These are the ones that you can buy, and just go to their stores. I'll leave links to all the brands. I won't link exactly to these specific laptops. I'll link to their brand, to the brand page. That way you guys can have a quick link to get there and search for yourselves for these laptops. All right, yeah. So they say it's up to 51% faster CPU performance, matches competitor peak PC performance at 65%, longer battery life on video playback, video calls, and video streaming. Breakthrough in battery life. The battery life is one of the biggest things about this processor that's been talked about, and there it tells you streaming video 2 times longer. So if you look at my screen, it says identical laptop chassis and specs. The X Elite, and you can see the battery is halfway, and the Intel Core Ultra 7 is almost dead. And you might think, man, that's just marketing, and I don't blame you, but having used three laptops with the X Elite in it, they've all had fantastic battery life, and it's pretty amazing. So this just goes on to show the rendering times, like for GIMP. GIMP is a photo processing program, kind of like Affinity or like Photoshop. But with announced Intel Core Ultra 7, 22 seconds, with the X Elite, 7 seconds. And in DaVinci Resolve, we're looking at a 273 second render time for the same file as the X Elite would run at 90 seconds. So, and this is, I can vouch for these numbers. This is pretty spot on. So yeah, that's the Snapdragon X Elite, guys. New processor that came out, new laptops that came out in June. I've already reviewed the HP. and I got a Lenovo and a Dell review coming. This processor's going places. ARM is finally doing something, ARM processing, and the laptops that I've used have been great on performance. Battery life has been fantastic. The cooling and heating, there's no overheating. It doesn't get super hot. It's very quiet. So there's a lot of very exciting things happening with the Snapdragon X Elite, and I'm excited for them. I want more 16-inch and 17-inch laptops to run this processor, so hopefully that happens soon. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to Monday, and welcome to a new week. I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I was just glad to do this podcast and just take a minute away from everything else that's happening, not only around the world, but just with me. A lot of things happening here at home, and a lot of things happening with the business and with everything that I'm doing. So it's nice to sit here and talk to you for a minute. Thanks for giving me 30 minutes of your time. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing on whatever platform you're listening on, or consider subscribing and liking on whatever video platform you're watching on. Welcome to my Rumble listeners. I got new Rumble followers and listeners following this podcast and following my channel. Please, if you're not subscribed, or not subscribed, if you're not signed up for Rumble, because you don't have to subscribe to Rumble. It's like YouTube, but you just need to have a free account and you can watch. We're trying to grow our Rumble channel, kind of moving away from YouTube. We're still posting to YouTube, but we want to grow the Rumble channel. We want to grow other avenues. So we need your help with that. If you're not following me on Rumble, please follow on Rumble. Please consider giving me a like, share. That's a huge thing. Please share the podcast on whatever platform you're on. Comment, and I'll try to respond. But hey, have a conversation with the other people that are listening, and talk about these things that we cover on the podcast. So all those things are going to help me. Like, share, subscribe, all the things that every other YouTuber and podcaster says. They do help, and I appreciate your support, and I mostly appreciate just having an audience, and help me to grow that audience again. We had a great run, and Google has torn things down, but they left several bricks and the foundation here. So we're going to rebuild, and we're going to hit it harder and go a lot harder on this, and we need your help to do that. I can't do it on my own. I need you guys to help me pick up the pieces and rebuild this house so that we can move on and get back to business. So, hey, have a great week. I said last week I'm probably only going to be doing one podcast a week. I had been shooting for 2. I don't know. I'm working hard on reviews, and that's what I'm trying to get done and through. But if it strikes me to do another podcast in this week, I'll do it. But for now, I want you guys to make sure you have a great week ahead. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Be kind to each other. That's a big thing. Be kind to each other, and try to. We're all people, and regardless of your political leanings, everybody deserves to be, shown some kindness. So, if you haven't shown kindness today, show it some way. And we will talk to you on the other side.